Imagine you're a government official for the European Union and you want to bring about sustainable crop production. Now you might wonder, how is that possible? How are we best going to do this? I'm Maria Gerullis. My teaser talk today for the DigiCrop Conference 2022 is going to talk about that topic. The underlying idea is that we stay within our planetary boundaries and at the same time produce what we need to maintain our social foundation. For agriculture, that means providing food and fibers to sustain our economies and our societies without harming the planet. Kate Raworth put this into this donut-shaped form in order to represent the idea behind this. On the outside, you can see the planetary boundaries that include stuff like biodiversity loss or land conversion. And at the core of this concept lie the 17 SDGs.
As you can see, there are quite many. They have such a wide range that we need to fundamentally change our everyday activities and the institutions and ways how we create technologies. To bring about these fundamental transformations and still reach the SDGs by 2030, as governance have set their goal, we need to install very effective ways of changing our daily rules, norms, strategies we employ every day. Sachs et al. Have identified 6 transformations needed to effectively change our organizations of societal, political, and economic activities. The core areas you see here are, for example, digital revolution and education and equality, well-being and demography, decarbonization of energy, and sustainable land, water, and ocean systems, which is of main interest here. And that means that we need to transform our agricultural systems in such a way that we change our resource use, institutions, technology, and social relations that we can achieve in the end the SDG outcomes. Still, the question remains, how do we implement these transformations? As mission-oriented governance tries to exactly achieve that. Mission-oriented governance is probably best understood if we think about the moonshot mission during the 1960s, when the different American research bodies around the NASA came together and created innovations which brought about the technologies and means to bring a man to the moon. Today, with a similar approach to governance, we try to bring about the SDGs, meaning that we determine bold and inspirational, yet reachable goals and their sub-goals towards achieving the SDGs. An example would be plastic-free oceans. And then we work with a multitude of bottom-up projects towards achieving these. On a meta level, that means that the governance of these research and innovation bodies that need to focus on the directionality of their research, the dynamic evaluation of these goals, right? Is the research useful towards reaching these? And how do we organize those innovations in research ecosystems that produce the technologies and social strategies we need? And last but not least, also, how do we organize risk and reward sharing amongst private and public actors that need to work together to achieve these goals?
In our current work, me and my colleagues from Bonn, Jülich, and LFL are trying to come up with a reasonable governance heuristic that on the one hand can integrate the notion of donuts economics and at the same time integrates the mission-oriented governance for plant breeding research. So far, we came up with a first reminder, so to say, of different dimensions that you need to think of when determining plant breeding goals and research agendas. And aside of the interaction of genetics, environment, and management, which breeders are usually already familiar with, we propose to add the effects from the social system to our plant breeding heuristic here. Means that we go for G times E times M times S. And that's where we are getting into collective effects that will integrate how the outcomes of plant breeding later manifest on plant, farm, and later also landscape level, and what is coming back from there. Yeah. As such, I'm looking forward very much to the discussion now following this talk.